Hi everybody. As you might have already noticed, I'm not where I normally am when I shoot a video, but I decided that for today's lesson, it was appropriate for me to be right here. I'm at my house, and I want to talk to you about what happens at the very end of the creation story. This entire month, we've been talking about how God created the entire universe. We've been studying from the very beginning of the book of Genesis, the first book in the Old Testament, where it details all of the ways and the order that God created the universe and everything that's in it. We talked about how God had a plan, how He had a plan for His creations, and He had a plan for us. He has a plan for us, His human creation, and He made us special and different in His own image. But His plan didn't stop when He finished creating. He included something very important at the end of His creation, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about day 7, the day that God rested. And so that's why I decided that it would be right for me to be at my house where I'm comfortable, where I come to rest. And I thought maybe I could take you along with me on what it looks like and what it really means for me and maybe you to have a day of rest and why it's so important. So get comfortable, get wherever you want, put on your comfy clothes and get ready because we're gonna spend some time today looking at the importance of rest. I don't know about you, but resting is harder than it sounds. I mean, who wants to take a nap? I mean, sometimes I want to take a nap, but the practice of actually stopping and resting and sitting before the Lord and thanking Him is harder than it sounds, isn't it? We think we'd like the idea of a day dedicated to rest, but society and our schedules and all of the fun things that we have to do can kind of get in the way of that. Sometimes even really good things can get in the way of rest. But God knew what He was talking about. God knew what He was doing on day 7 when He stopped and He looked at all of the things that He created and He said, "It's perfect. This is so good. I'm gonna rest." Something really special happens in that moment of rest. It's a renewal. It's a time for you to not only reflect on the good that's going on, but it's a chance for you to get renewed and to become energized for the work that you have to do ahead of you. One of my favorite things to do when I am resting is to color. Do you like to color? I love to color. I have tons of coloring books and I buy all kinds of fun pens, and I even have a Bible that I've dedicated, that I've given myself permission to coloring in, and it allows me to reflect on the scriptures in a really creative way. What are some of your favorite things to creatively rest? I'd love to know. Hey you guys, I'm back and I'm still here at my house enjoying my day of rest, and I wanted to show you one of my favorite things that I like to do, and that is take care of my plants. Do you see I've gathered all my plants here behind me, and they're actually sitting in my kitchen sink, and they are going to get filled up with water. Do you see where I'm going here? When we take time to take care of our plants, we fill them up with water, we make sure that they're getting the right amount of sun. Sometimes I even pick off all the dead leaves, and I do that to make sure that they're taken care of, to make sure that they're getting filled up and getting everything that they need. I have an example here of one of the plants that maybe didn't get exactly what it needed. Oh, I feel like this plant sometimes. I feel like sometimes I get like this plant when I'm too busy, when I'm just going and going and going and going, and I'm not taking the time to slow down and be still and fill myself back up. And that's what's so important about the day of rest. That's why God did that on day 7 and why He wants us to do that too, so that we don't get burned out and tired and where we can't keep going, that day of rest is important. It's a Sabbath. It's a renewal of our spirits. I attempted to do some yoga while I was reading scripture, but in an effort to be transparent and honest, I decided that it probably wasn't very good content. You can find this scripture in the book of Genesis in chapter 2. At the very beginning of chapter 2, here's what it says. By the seventh day, God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the seventh day, he rested from all his work. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating that he had been doing. It's time to rest, people. After you've been busy and you've been creating and you've been going through all the motions of your week, it's so important that you take the time to sit and be still with the Lord. Well, we've made it to the end of my day of rest, and I'm going to pop on here one more time and tell you guys that I'm really glad that God knew all those years ago when he was creating the universe. I'm glad that he knew that I and you and all of us would need rest, that it would be important to our health, that it would be important to our worship in God, and that it would be important to our reflecting on the creation around us and all of the goodness that God has given us. So I hope that you've enjoyed your day with me, and I hope that you are carving out a day real soon that you are going to be dedicating it to rest. God calls us to do it every single week.